Today I ducked up by being accidentally racist. So this happened 2 days ago and I'm still cringing. Recently I've taken an interest in chess and my school runs an after-school chess club for beginners, so I thought I'd go along. So anyway, here I am about to play my first game of chess ever. I sit down at the black pieces and my opponent has the white pieces. I should now mention my opponent was African American. The chess teacher says, "First rule of chess, whites go first." I think to myself, wow, that's pretty racist, but chess is an old game, so maybe they kept the rule out of tradition. So I grab a pawn and slide it forward, then I look up expecting my opponent to make his move. Instead I'm met with a look of confusion and horror. I begin to hear laughter from the people watching. I then realize my error. "Oh, you meant the pieces," I murmur. The teacher nods. Now everyone thinks I'm a massive racist. TLDR, whites go first in chess refers to the pieces and not the people playing. Checkers might be more your speed. OP. Okay everybody, reds go first. Ups and his NA opponent sit in silence as OP waits for him to move his black piece. Similar to this, my uncle's family name is black and ours is white. It's a large family. One day we were at a large public pool with many kids from both sides. The adults were trying to get the kids out of the pool for pictures. First it was all of them, then the whole family, then they wanted to do just the black family and then the white family. For context, we're all white and for that matter the black family are a bunch of blondes and redheads. Anyways, one of the parents was trying to get the most responsible preteen to go get the other side of the family for pictures. She ran to the pool and screamed, "All the black kids have to get out of the pool so the white kids can get in." There was no music, but I just imagined a record screech and the whole place stopped and stared at this seemingly horrible little racist girl. Follow that up by my uncle following black folks who were there around with his ID trying to explain. Hindsight, it was hilarious, but at that moment it felt real wrong. My boss's last name is Black. Some guy came in and was talking to my manager and said, "You need to get more of them black boys in here to work. You won't have to pay them." I basically did shocked Pikachu face and then realized he meant all of the boss's brothers. I think sometimes when you are familiar associating a name with a person, you can become oblivious to other connotations. I have 2 examples. I had a manager at a small business where everyone was friendly, both in and out of work, and his last name was Duchesne. Everyone called him Duke, pronounced douche. But after telling my mom a long story about my boss helping me out, her response was, "Your boss sounds like a good guy, so why do you keep calling him a douche?" This is one of many times that I confused people talking about him. I also had a female friend with the last name Fenkbana. I know I have weirded a lot of people out just randomly throwing out boner into conversations while not even batting an eye. My point is, if he has called them the black boys since childhood, chances are he didn't give a second thought to how inappropriate the comment was. Just playing devil's advocate, for all I know he could be a racist a-hole. Today I ducked up by making a joke and losing the right to see my daughter. This just happened last week. I got home from working out of town Thursday night and my wife warns me that there is a problem with my 7-year-old daughter. Beth comes in and I can see that she has a few bug bites on her face and one of her eyelids is a little droopy. She feels fine though. I am off work the next day and my wife is going to the office. I wake Beth up for breakfast and her eyes now much worse. It is more than half closed and a little red. She still feels fine. As soon as the doctor opens, I call them and they tell us to come in. We get there and I go to check in. The receptionist that I have never seen looks at my daughter and says, "Oh. My goodness, what happened?" So I respond as a joke, "Hey, she got out of line." I know. It's horrible. I'm sorry. I have a weird sense of humor and I'm a bit socially awkward. Anyway, we all smile and giggle before we head to the waiting area. Soon we are called in. The checkup goes as expected. It's a reaction to the bug bites and he tells me to use some over-the-counter Zyrtec or Benadryl. Then there is a knock on the door and the doctor steps out. He comes back in a few minutes later and says that the police would like to talk to me. The doctor is angry. We all head to the doctor's office to talk. There is a policeman and a policewoman. The policewoman starts making small talk with my daughter and asks if she wants to go in the other room and read a book. My daughter has an irrational fear of the police from when her older brother would threaten to call them whenever she went in his room. So she says no and buries her face in my side. The police then tell me that it is better that she is in another room. I saw one of Beth's cheer coaches bring her son in soon after we got there and mentioned that she may still be there to watch her. The doctor, still visibly angry, goes to check and she is, so Beth goes to sit with her in the waiting room. The police explain that they have a report of possible child abuse. The doctor explains that this was a simple misunderstanding. He just examined my daughter and there is no abuse. I now realize that it is the receptionist that he is angry with. She makes an excuse and leaves the room. He says that he thinks he has to let her go. He says this is the second incident in 2 weeks. He says that her bad judgment got his practice and the entire executive park closed for 4 hours last week and his neighbors now hate him. The police are apologetic but say they need to do a full investigation and ask if I can come to the station. A friend comes to pick up my daughter who is freaking out at this point. We get to the station, they allow me to drive there myself, and my uncle who is a lawyer meets me there. The police are apologetic and say they already know what happened but a full investigation and report need to be done. They say it is a minimum of 3 to 5 days, maybe longer. I call my wife who goes ballistic. The county attorney says that they normally seek restraining orders in these cases, but if I sign an agreement to stay away from my daughter until the investigation is closed they would not seek one. My uncle recommends this as the restraining order would be public record. I stay at my brother's for the weekend and schedule an out-of-town trip that I really don't need to make for this week. I can't wait to get home to see my family and sleep in my own bed, but I'm pretty sure my wife will have me on the couch for a little while. TLDR, made a bad joke, got investigated for hitting my kid, lost the right to see her. Sitting in a hotel room on a useless business trip. Edit, spelling. Edit 2, update, thank you for the gold, kind strangers. Wow, this blew up. I wanted to answer some of the questions that you guys had. I want to thank all of you guys for the kind words and support. For those of you saying that I am an idiot, you are probably right. 1. I will not be sleeping on the couch. My wife got over this fairly quickly and is no longer angry. At least not at me. 2. I am heading home from Boston tomorrow evening and I think everything should be resolved by then. 3. I will not be taking legal action against the receptionist. She was very young, did not do this out of animosity. I do not know what if anything will happen to her job. I am not pushing for her to lose it. 4. The other story about the receptionist goes like this, as told to me by the doctor. A few weeks ago the lights in the parking lot of the executive park blew and the landlord had trouble getting them fixed, so he rented temporary light stanchions for the businesses that are open past sundown until they could figure out the problem. These lights apparently ran on gas or diesel. The receptionist came back from lunch one day and smelled something, so she called the State's Department of Environmental Protection to say that she believed that there was a fuel leak. The DEP closed the parking lot for the rest of the day for cleanup. It turned out to be nothing. Whoa, this is weirdly similar to something my own dad did. Once my sister got a mosquito bite on her face that swelled her eye up, and when the chemist asked what happened, my dad, who couldn't even speak the language, decided doing a punching motion to her 8-year-old face while laughing was a good option. The look on the woman's face. Turns out laughing isn't so universal after all. Luckily there were no repercussions though. This made me laugh quite a bit. The fact he couldn't speak the language but still wanted to make bad a joke is brilliant. Dads will never change, lol. Today I ducked up by saying the N-word at an African American child's birthday party. I'm white. So I'm currently still at the birthday party where this incident took place. We are at a birthday party for one of my wife's friend's kid who just turned 2. The whole family of the child is here and they are a black family. Now I'm talking aunts, uncles, grandparents, family friends, the works. The birthday girl was playing with a balloon and my son, almost 2, took the balloon away and started yelling no. 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 So naturally I took the balloon away from him and the family was staring at him being a brat naturally. So in an attempt to not say no and sort of explain his behavior I said, sorry everyone, he just recently learned the N-word. The room went silent. I also have never met any of these people before, so it made my mistake that much more awkward. Luckily they all just started dying laughing because they understood what I meant. TLDR, in an attempt to avoid using the word no, I told an African American family my son recently learned the N-word. It was embarrassing, then everyone laughed.